What's up, everybody? Time for another video, and today I prepared a little bit by making this image, and that is because we are adding a new objective to our quest. So an objective are these small subtasks that we have on exams and tier quests and all these things, and the one we're adding is one for time passed. So for instance, if you're running an errand and babysitting a baby or whatever, and you just need to wait 60 minutes until you can complete it, that's the kind of objective we are implementing. So let's get started. The first place we need to add something to create a new objective is within the validators of objectives. And here we can see that we have different types of objectives. We have the simple tasks, which are stuff that just are counting different things, like how many arena kills did you have and stuff like this. And then we have location tasks, which are more move to this location and do something like pick up an item or defeat some opponents. So for this one, it's just another simple task for how much time has passed. So we'll do a new simple one called minutes passed. So we also have the unit of time within the task, its name itself. So that's this, and then we also need to add it within the libs. Here we have a method that says for all these different objectives, where do we find the image and stuff, and what do we name it and stuff like this. So in this case we named it minutes passed, and the title will be minutes passed. So that's actually it. Now we have added a new objective, and let's just try it out. So right now I have the Genin exam. If I go and add this objective to the Genin exam, I should be able to see it. So we'll go to exam, Genin exam, add a new objective. And we see it here, minutes passed. That's the one we just added. And let's put a very high number so it's not completed yet. Save to database. I can go to the profile again, refresh, and it should pop up here. There we go. So we added a new objective. But right now, this objective isn't counting anything. So we need to implement the actual logic for counting it as well, or increasing it. And to do that, we need to go to the quest.libs, where we have this method, get new trackers. That's the method that's responsible for updating the trackers that you have. So basically how far along you are. And then we also need to go to profile endpoint, where we have this method, fetch regenerated user. And that's the one responsible for getting user data. So everything you see on this page. And in this function, we have this piece of code right now, where it's basically calling this get new trackers with a task called user level. So it's updating the user level for all the objectives every time, and also how many days you've been in the village. And I think this stuff that we're doing every time we call this method, I don't think we should do it here, because we're also, once we're done picking up all the user stuff and doing all the user things here, we also run the get new trackers with a task called any. So I think these things that need to be counted every time, we should move them within the get new trackers method instead. So let's just see what we do here. I think for now, let's just park this piece of code that we copied and then deal with it later. So what this method is doing is taking all our active quests, looping through it, seeing if we can find a tracker for the quest. If we don't find a tracker, we create a new one for the given quest. And then if no tasks are specified as arguments, we just return the tracker. I think we need to stop this, because now we want to go through all the objectives regardless of anything, so that we can set the counts for these, how many minutes passed and stuff like this. So basically, once we have the quest tracker for the given quest, we loop through the objectives of the quest. And for each objective, we get the current goal. I think that's a bad name, because what we're actually taking out of the quest tracker here is essentially the status. So let's rename this to status instead. So the status has the ID field of the objective, whether or not the objective is done, and a value. So this could be how many jutsus have you trained, for instance. Then if it doesn't have a status, we create a status for this given objective. If the status is done, we return it. That's fine. I think we can take this part up. It's convenient to have the task name. So the task name is just one of these, is it PvP kills, arena kills, and so forth. And then I think we'll do a block here for, let me just think, like, let's call it general updates. We want every time. And what's being done here, down here, is more like specific requested updates for trackers. So these are the updates requested through the task specified to the method. So in this block here, basically we want to do all these updates that have to happen every time. So if the task is equal to user level, then we'll do status value equal user level, exactly. If task is equals to, what was this called, the other one, days in village, then we need to first count the days in the village, and I'm not sure we've imported the seconds passed, have we? So we just need to import this method that just counts the seconds passed since a given timestamp. So here we're counting how many seconds passed since the user joined the village, and then we're getting that in days, and we're setting the status to those number of days. And then finally our new objective, which is minutes passed. And for that one we need to count the minutes, since not the user joined the village, but rather this needs to be the quest tracker start at. So when we started that quest, is this possibly undefined? Didn't we check it up here? That's some weird TypeScript stuff. Let's just confirm that we have the quest tracker. I don't know why it says this could be undefined, because if it was undefined, we had defined it here. Okay, now TypeScript is all messed up. Let's restart ESLint, restart TypeScript. See what type it thinks it has up here. Come on. Okay, it still thinks it's possibly undefined. I think it's fine that we just confirm that quest tracker exists here. And start at, that's actually a string because we're pulling it out from a JSON field in the database, so we need to cast it as a date. Like this. And then it should be happy. So now we set the how many minutes passed to how many minutes passed since the user started the quest tracker. Why is it complaining? Oh, it went away. Perfect. Okay, so we implemented all this now, so we can remove that. And then the last thing is this: if we have one of these simple tasks where we're updating a value, we need to say if the value is above the objective value, we should set the status to done. We are also doing that down here, but let's just copy this out and do it after both the blocks. So we do it down here instead. And we only needed to do it if we have an objective that has this type, not type field, value field. So if it's you can see our objectives, we have all different types of objectives, but it's only these simple objectives that have a value field where we actually need to do this check whether the status value is above the objective value, and that's done. I think that's actually it for this feature. Let's just test it. So if I refresh now, it should update. And it does. It tells me I have had this quest for 3,775 minutes. And if we then update the objective to only require 3,000 minutes, it should also mark it as completed. But let's just check that. We updated to require 3,000 minutes of having this exam. Go here, refresh. And that seems to have worked. So now I will just commit this and then it should be live in 1 to 2 minutes. Thank you for watching.